All right, A Complete Unknown, starring Timothée Chalamet, Monica Barbaro, Ed Norton, Elle Fanning. Now, I walked into this film with no expectations. Like, just the bar was set low. And that's just because I really find it difficult when people try to do biopics about people that are so they're characters themselves. And Bob Dylan himself is sort of like a character in himself. And I was a little worried. One, I'm not the biggest fan of Timothée Chalamet. Like, I think he's a decent actor, but I don't think he's one of the greats that people are trying to make him out to be. So I went into this just thinking I'm going to go see it and hopefully be entertained. But I was actually surprised and happy that I went to go see this film. Timothée Chalamet does a good job. Considering what he was up against with developing this character to be as close as people would think that Bob Dylan would be. Now, was it perfect? No. Now, this movie takes place in early 1960s when Bob Dylan lands in New York City and is evolving as a folk artist. And then it brings you up and leads you up through his story and journey until he finally pivots and says, you know what, folk isn't doing it for me anymore. And a lot of this has to do with because he is being introduced to different societal things that are going on, political issues that are going on. And he's embracing, plus he's young. I mean, when he landed in New York, he was only 19. And I don't think people understand that of course he's going to grow. He's going to, make changes like all young artists do. But he wasn't well received by a lot of his fans initially when he went and he did that pivot. And this takes you up until that point. So it's not like the whole life story of Bob Dylan. It's that section in time of his life. It's done well. I think the cinematography is great. Of course the music is great. The unfortunate thing for us in the theater, my sister was sitting next to somebody that was a little inebriated and had us kind of do a sing-along, which was kind of unfortunate. But overall, knowing that Timothy played the guitar, it's not like him lipping it, it's him singing these songs. I was super impressed. I'm actually now a Timothée Chalamet fan because of this film. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And, it's definitely not perfect. There were some moments that were really, like why? And I get that they're trying to develop his early relationships and how he built these early relationships that you see then grow over years, like Johnny Cash and things like that. But, some of that seemed forced in the film. And you also wonder, did that really happen? Or was it just placed in that? Because it's based off of his true story. It's not his exact true story. So, it's a decent film. I was never bored. Were there moments where you're like, oh, and, he's writing another song. They're showing him late at night, waking up and being, having to write a song and play the guitar. And the MFer had a guitar with him at all times, or somebody with him had a guitar with him at all times. But I wasn't hating on it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm overly critical with these things, but I'm not going to be this way with this film. I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I think it's worth a watch. I don't think that you're going to be bored. I think you'll be entertained. If you like Bob Dylan music, you're going to even love it more. I enjoy Bob Dylan music. Am I like, is he on my playlist all the time? No. Like I'll if I hear a bop in the grocery store, I'm singing along, but it's not like I'm some mega fan of Bob Dylan. I think he is definitely an amazing songwriter for that time period, because again, in my mind, I'm thinking of artists, and some are able to land on a point in time where it's so relevant and what they're doing is so relevant for that time. So kudos, to people that are mega fans. And I appreciate his art. I mean, look, the dude won a Nobel Peace Prize. But go check it out. It's out in theaters now, and hope you enjoy it. 3.5 out of 5 stars.